Now, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Godfred Yeboah-Dame, has advised the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, to direct police officers to desist from impounding vehicles whose drivers engage in misdemeanors. According to Mr. Dame, crossing the red light and driving without a valid insurance certificate are offences for which the offending vehicles should not be impounded. My colleague, Mbura Samuel, is here in the studio to give us an update on the issue. What exactly is the status quo on this issue? All right, so,
Sweetie, this letter to the IGP is actually dated 8th of February 2024. And if you look at the letter, meaning there have been correspondence between the IGP and the Attorney General. So this is actually a response to the IGP, and I quote, says, impounding of or prohibition of the use of motor vehicles for minor violations of road traffic regulation. So the Attorney General is making specific reference to the Road Traffic Regulation Act 2012 Act, the LI 2180, where he's raising concerns about police officers arresting people who jump traffic light, people driving on the wrong side of the road, parking at unauthorized areas, where he's raising concerns. The Attorney General is doing this, according to him, on the back of complaints by some citizens and also lawyers about some of these, what he calls the minor offenses. He thinks that the continuous arrest of people or offenders of these cases could land the Ghana Police Service in lawsuit, or the state in which the Attorney General will have to defend. So in essence, the Attorney General is advising the Ghana Police Service that you have to desist from some of these minor acts because, one, there are no criminal activities that you can take the person on, impound the person's vehicle, arrest, and then do whatever you want to do. If not, the person can take you to court. So he is trying to avoid future lawsuits against the state and also expenses that the state will be incurring to defend such cases in court. The ultimate one is to avoid judgment debt. Yeah. We know that this is not the first time this thing is coming up. But
and not the first time he's talking about judgment debt and the money his office has saved the country.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's actually concerned about the continuous impounding and arresting of motor riders or motor vehicle users on the roads for what he describes as minor offense, because he feels like if you jump the traffic, it's not any criminal offense that they have to arrest, impound your vehicle, take you to a police station, and then demand for your further particulars and all that. So that's generally the summary of the Attorney General's advice to the Ghana Police.
Did he say what should be done instead to these offenders?
We know they have been proposals for spot fines.
Okay.
So if you are talking about spot fines here, that now stirs the conversation for, whether we should go in for the spot fines amend so that if you offend, like it is done in advanced countries, then you are to pay on the spot. They will calculate the penalty units for you to pay. All these penalty units are in the Road Traffic Acts and regulations that the police uses to, punish offenders. So that now stirs the conversation as to whether there should be an amendment for spot fines and well prescribed for the police to go by. We know the Ghana Police Service is already in the pipeline, the MTTD collaborating with the National Road Safety Authority. I remember on our Drive Safe campaign, there was that engagement in Accra, and subsequently they are piloting in other parts of the country where they have what they call the police invisible eye is watching. That particular project seeks to synchronize data from the MTTD, the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, the National Road Safety Authority. So your vehicle details will be at a centralized server with the Drivers and Licensing Authority. So if you skip traffic light, the monitoring system, they actually have a traffic tech.
Yeah.
The camera will capture your details, send it to a centralized server, then your offense will be communicated to you. You have some specific days to pay. If you don't pay, then the law comes after you. So I'm sure with this thing coming up, it will definitely expedite action on this project that the Ghana Police Service is doing, spearheaded by the MTTD, where they say the police invisible eye is watching.
Right, thank you so much. But let's get on the phone now, on Zoom instead, and speak to a private legal practitioner, Martin Kwebu. Mr. Kwebu, thank you for joining us. This order from the Attorney General in his quest to save the country judgment debt, is it in order?
Absolutely, sweetie. Absolutely. It's about the best decision the Attorney General is taking in recent times. Yesterday on another platform, I was saying these are the kind of initiatives and decisions that are expected from him. Not the kind in the Honorable Nelson Dafiamepo case, the case about the Speaker stopping the vetting of the approval of the ministers in Parliament. We don't want that kind of politics. This one is what the Attorney General should be doing. This is what shows that it's an office for the people of Ghana. It's a brilliant move. You know, sweetie, your FM had posted programs on this particular matter. I was part of the panelists. We made it clear that our interpretation of the LI 2180 doesn't say that the police should impound every vehicle once there's a traffic offense. No. So apart from the cameras that the police have at certain vantage or certain strategic traffic lights, if a policeman arrests a person for jumping the red light or driving without license, you can video the vehicle, video the person, and take any other evidence. Then, when the police takes the person through the processes, that's caution statement, etc., then you can let the suspect or accused person go with his vehicle. You don't need to impound it. Sweetie, the truth of the matter is that they often impound the vehicle so that they can use it to extort money from us. That is the modus operandi. Most of it, it's to make sure that eventually you pay money. It doesn't matter, even if you are taken to court and convicted, you still will have to pay money before you get your car back. So this move, if properly implemented, is going to make sure that we'll have better rule of law. I'm sure Ghana will do better. Yesterday, I was also referring to the fact that in terms of rule of law, for the past 7 years, we've not been doing well on the democracy index. Our performance has been declining. And the police is a very huge part of the bribery and corruption story of Ghana. So if this particular measure is implemented well, the police will score very high marks, and eventually that will be Ghana doing better.
Well, wouldn't you say that this, if we start implementing this and letting these, I like to call them recalcitrant drivers go, it would rather open the floodgates for more people to just jump the lights? Because, I mean, the worst you would do is to pay a fine.
Yes, but that is the law. You see, it's a democracy. It's a democracy. What we've agreed is that the punishment in the law usually is payment of a fine and then imprisonment up to 3 months. So in law, these are minor offenses. We can't, sweetie, compare this kind of offense to, let's say, robbery or stealing 1 million Ghana, etc. No. In law, we've categorized them. These are minor offenses. And natural fact, the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative is also working on this, that we should stop custodial sentences for such minor offenses. So it's just natural that as we are developing, the key point I'm making here is that it's a necessary part of our movement towards development. This, because the police have been oppressing us, extorting money from us. So when you stop it, it means that we become a better people. Our democracy is better. We had to do that. We can't continue like that. That you allow police to use this excuse. Oh, we are impounding it to go and show it as an exhibit in court. We are impounding the vehicle so that when the case gets to court, we can show the judge that here's the exhibit. This is evidence that we arrested the person. As the Attorney General rightfully noted in the letter, that is not necessary. Take a video of it. Get your colleague, police officers or policemen to be witnesses. Then you let the vehicle go. We are not saying that people should not be prosecuted. That is not what the Attorney General is saying. The Attorney General is saying that impounding the vehicle, so you seize the vehicle, keep it at the police station, then the vehicle is at the mercy of the weather. Sometimes parts get stolen from the vehicle, and these police are not in a position to pay back the parts. Can't give you money to go and buy to fix those parts, etc. So this is a huge step forward. So I pray.
Mr. Kwebu, what happens then? Mr. Kwebu, are you still with me?
Yeah.
So what happens if the IGP decides not to go follow in this directive, this advice? Because as we speak, the police still arrest people who cross the red light and they impound vehicles. So if the IGP decides that he's going to ignore this order, what happens then?
Now, in a constitutional democracy such as ours, the IG doesn't have space to ignore this order. The Attorney General is senior to the IG when it comes to law enforcement. In our constitution, the only person that the law knows as responsible for prosecution of cases is the Attorney General or people he delegates. So when it comes to this matter, Godfrey Dame is the boss. And I don't think this is Dr. Ekufu-Dampare would likely ignore the Attorney General, his boss, when it comes to law enforcement. What is in the domain of the IG is the investigations, right? But remember that as you investigate, you collaborate with the chief law enforcer. The police go to court to prosecute, but it's because the Attorney General doesn't have enough lawyers. So the Attorney General has asked the police to help. So because they've been helping the AG, I don't see how Dr. Dampare will say, no, boss, I won't do it. No, it will bring chaos.
I like that you said the police is helping the Attorney General. So in the case of trying to reduce the amount of court cases going forward, do you think we need a special sort of court to deal with traffic issues? Otherwise, we are just increasing the number of cases in the courts, which is also increasing the job of the Attorney General.
Absolutely, yeah. We need more. As for courts, yes, it's been a matter that the Chief Justice is addressing. It didn't start with this Chief Justice. Previous Chief Justice who have tried. We need to increase the numbers, just as we also need to increase the number of lawyers, and so that a point will come. The prosecutions that the police have been doing to help the Attorney General will take the police off those cases so that the police will remain with detection of crime and investigations, those things. Because often there's a lot of conflict of interest when you ask a policeman to investigate and then the same police go to court to prosecute. There are a number of cases where you see conflict of interest, the police will bury evidence, that should exculpate the accused, etc. That's a debate for another day. But for now, we agree that yes, court numbers should be increased, the number of lawyers also especially, because as you increase the number of courts, you need lawyers to be there. And I know the General Legal Council, the Board of Legal Education, they've been increasing the number of lawyers that are graduating for the past 3 years. And I hope that will continue. So gradually, we should get better because it's very disturbing that for the past 7 years on democracy, we've been declining, just like the way we've been stagnant on corruption for 4 years at 43, which is the worst mark in the previous JM administration. So this one will help to improve our marks.
Right.
The AG is done well.
Mr. Kwebu, is this, just to be clear, is this an advice or is it an order?
In practice, you see, because we want to smoothen their relations, let's slow down on it. I'm sure IGP Dampare knows what it means because the Attorney General is in charge.
Okay.
And yes,
right.
Yes.
So
I think it will be done.
How about sensitizing the public? Because most people do not know that you're not even supposed to pay monies and, you know, try to bribe your way out when you cross the traffic light. How do we ensure that the citizenry are well informed that these are, this is what the law is saying?
Very good. So, Sweetie, what we should be doing is that for the rest of this week, let's keep repeating this story. Repeat it 1,000 times. Then Mbura and Co. go out to the driving public, okay, motorists, interview them. Have you heard about the Attorney General's letter to IGP Dampare, etc.? Let's increase the education because it's all about education. It's when people are educated about their rights that they can stand up and fight.
Well, thank you so much, Martin Kwebu, for shedding light on this issue for us. Martin Kwebu is a legal practitioner, and my colleague from the newsroom, Samuel Mbura, also joined us, bringing us a statement from the Attorney General.